Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at this product from Mastercool. This is a specialty socket that is designed for use on air conditioning systems, in particular the high pressure side of an R-134a cooling system. This specific style here is more of a General Motors style set of fittings. Some manufacturers have some variants in terms of how their fittings are designed, and this is more or less a GM style product. So let's take a look at the back here. Here's a part number 98234, R-134a. That's important because there are a number of other refrigerants out there. And a high pressure hex socket. Now I would argue this high pressure hex socket is a little bit of a misnomer, and I'll show you why here in just a moment. At the bottom here we get the caveat, made and or assembled in the USA with foreign and domestic parts. So this was picked up recently online because most local auto parts stores don't actually sell this part, or this socket specifically, and this has a couple unique attributes on it. And what really sets this apart is the business end of the tool here. And I know it's kind of shiny here, but what I was saying earlier about the hex socket being a misnomer is because this really has 8 sides on the inside. You've got 8 flats around the outside, so it's really an octagonal socket. And then it goes down to a nice smooth on the inside from there and next down a bit. And so you're not necessarily going to be able to find this at your local auto parts store, and perhaps for good reason, because if you're playing with the air conditioning of your system, this is intended for the high pressure side, that because of it being high pressure, if you don't know how to remove the pressure on the coolant and drain it, you could have a major problem on your hands with getting refrigerant in your face or all over your car, and you don't want to do that. Refrigerant is dangerous to the ozone. You need to have some idea what you're doing with refrigerant. And so that's probably a good reason why you're not going to find this at your local parts store. And so while I don't have a need for this right now, but it's one of those things I thought it's better to have and not need than to need and not have and have to wait for 2 or 3 day shipping for it to get to me in the event that I were to need this in a pinch. And so this is for a 3/8 drive ratchet and or extensions that you need to get down to the fitting in the event you need to replace that line. You know, a couple hypothetical situations is if all of a sudden you were to lose pressure on your fitting, it were to blow up or something, and you drained out, you could use this to check the fitting, remove it, replace it, or otherwise rebuild it. A couple things here stand out immediately on this socket here as I look around the outside, and as I spin it, this is perfectly smooth on the outside. There is no stamping or marking of this being a Mastercool product or otherwise being intended for R-134a refrigerant use, which kind of disappoints me because it'd be nice just to have that stamped in here somewhere so that in my pool of sockets I know exactly what this does and goes for just by reading the outside of the socket rather than being unmarked. In defense of the socket here, this was a little less than $15, which I think is a great price for this. You're not paying 30, 40, 50 bucks you might otherwise have to pay for it, but it's definitely a little weird, quirky specialty socket here that you just can't pick up anywhere. So now to demonstrate the use of this socket here, I have a GM high pressure side fitting here. As we look at this, we can see at the bottom side of this, we've got a green O-ring, and then inside of this we have a Schrader valve that obviously you'd want to depressurize the system before you go to think about removing something like this and think about all the safety precautions about how to do that safely. And so if we look at this Mastercool socket that has its 8-pointed side, and this fits in perfectly. It's a exact perfect fit for this. And so there's an 8-sided octo bolt head, if we can call it that, on this side and on the other side. I'm not particularly sure how you'd end up on the other end, but this socket can accommodate both of these 2 socket sizes with no problem. So this drops right in and handles the 8-sided fitting here just perfectly. So if you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, isn't that why my tool guy sold me the spline drive sockets was for any other odd size fasteners? Okay, that's a great question. Let's take a look at some spline drive sockets. Okay, so I've got a 14 and a 16 millimeter spline drive here. And so if you look at the 14 millimeter spline drive socket here, if we can see this on the edge, the 14 is just slightly too small. And if we go to the 16, it's slightly too large. Okay, now I don't have a 15 in the set that I have. This is a Craftsman set of spline drive sockets. I don't have a 15, but what are the two standard sockets that fit in between it? And the two standard sizes that come between a 14 and a 16 are a 9/16 and a 5/8. And so if we look at the 9/16, the smaller of the two, and we try to put it in, and again, the 9/16 is just slightly too small. And then we go to the 5/8, and it's slightly too big. Okay, so that doesn't really work either. So we're kind of stuck that we should be able to get a fit out of that somewhere, at least close enough to work. So again, we're back to our Mastercool socket option. This drops right on, no problem. So then you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute. Well, what about a crow's foot? You're saying you might need a 15 spline drive. Okay, so here's a 15 millimeter crow's foot. And I'm going to drop this crow's foot on here. And I cannot get, because it's slightly bigger than a 15, than what this crow's foot will adapt to. And I cannot get my 15 millimeter crow's foot on there. So if I go up to a 16 crow's foot, that extra millimeter, and that is too big. Okay, so that doesn't work. So somewhere between a 15 and a 16. Let's start playing with our standard sizes here. So then here's a 5/8. Nope, too big for that. And here is a 9/16. And again, it is too big for the 9/16. So that leaves you with the best option. You don't have this socket, to have one of these adjustable crow's foot wrenches that, because it is 8 sides, that means all the sides do have a parallel face. And then we can take the adjustable crow's foot, and then we could dial this down. Then you can obviously put an extension on here to then be able to remove it like this. And so in this case here, the adjustable crow's foot is your get out of jail card if you don't have this socket. And if we look at the sizes on the side of this crow's foot that it suggests that this opening might be, on the standard size, we're looking at about 5/8, but we've already checked 5/8 and that doesn't work. And if we look on the metric side, this is coming in just under 16 millimeters. So maybe like about 15 and 3/4. It's definitely a unique size, and so this obviously works with the adjustable crow's foot. But bear in mind, there's obviously going to be the potential clearance issues because it's just how big and bulky this is by comparison to just being able to drop a socket on. And so depending upon the clearance issues you've got in the location, the socket here might be your best option, even though this is kind of your get out of jail card for how you might be able to escape the situation without having this Mastercool socket. Of course, the other option, if you have a lot of room, is just to break out the crescent or the adjustable wrench, and that would do the same thing as this does. And so that's a look at this Mastercool socket and its application for a R-134a refrigerant, high-pressure refrigerant fitting for GM. I hope you found this video useful and interesting. I appreciate you watching today. If you could, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. So, click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And check back here regularly for new content. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye.